Hello, welcome to my 12 Days of Christmas. I am April Davis with April Davis Creations. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And I live in Spring Hill, Kansas. And today is day number 6. I'm so glad you've joined me. And if you are here live, please do say hello and let me know where you're watching from. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm excited to open up package number 6. Any guesses as to what this might be? Did anybody open early? Well, let's open together then. So let's go ahead and get this opened. I do such a good job wrapping. It's hard to get into my packages. All right, here we go. We have the gift bags combo pack. So we've got, I believe it is 8 small bags and 8 large bags. And so what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna show you how I've decorated one each, one of the small and one of the large. So let's get started with the small first, and I will bring it in. It's a cute little bag. It's quite small actually. So how are we going to decorate it? Well, I thought that this would make a cute little bag for a birthday gift. So I am going to utilize one of our online exclusive papers. This is called Marbled Elegance, and I'm going to show you what this paper looks like, but it's gorgeous. So it partners with Melon Mambo, and obviously the gold. You can see the sparkle in the gold. And then the back side, this one's Melon Mambo Roses. We've kind of got a combination of real red Melon Mambo, and then we've got some leaves on the back. I love, love, love this paper. There's some more Melon Mambo with some splatters instead of some swirls. Splatters. And then we've got real red splatters and speckles on the back. There's some more combination stripes on the back. And then I believe this last one is more swirls and little hearts on the back. So a fun paper to be working with. So I decided to go ahead and use that. So I cut down a piece of that paper so that it would fit on the front of my bag. So that's the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna glue this down onto the front of my bag. So we'll get that part of it done. And then I've got some stamping that I need to do because of course it's for happy birthday. So I wanna make sure that I'm able to say happy birthday. Let me see, I think I want the gold up at the top. So I'm just gonna center this. And I love the glue because then I've got a little wiggle room to go each way. And then I've got a piece of white that's gonna go across the bottom, and we're gonna actually stamp on that white. So while this is setting up and adhering, I'm gonna take a big block and I'm gonna put a block on it just to make sure that it gets adhered. I'm gonna be stamping happy birthday, and we're gonna do it a little bit differently. Let me show you the stamp set that this came from. This came from Labeled with Love. So I'm using this happy birthday. I liked the fact that it was kind of a written font and a cursive font. And we're gonna emboss. So I'm gonna bring in my embossing buddy and tray. And the first thing we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will get the powder on here so that I don't have to deal with any excess oils or anything that are gonna cling to that my embossing powder will cling to. Get this extra powder off of here. And I've got a little brush, not that we use it for this, but I'll just go ahead and use it since it's there. I am working with the photopolymer stamp, so I'm gonna bring in my Stampin' Pierce mat because there is no cushion with this photopolymer. Now, the other thing with respect to this Labeled with Love, and I'll show you this Labeled with Love comes as a bundle as well. So I got it so that it came with 3 labels. You can also get a punch if you choose not to get the dies, but I went ahead and got the dies because I can cut 3 at a time, which is exciting to me. But I haven't used this set yet. So today is the first day that I'm using this set with all of you. And I need to prep this stamp. So a couple things, because it's a brand new photopolymer stamp, you can take your thumb and you can kind of go over it to try to take that coating off, or I like to use my high polymer eraser from Pentel, and I will just wipe over the top of that. It kind of, I'm gonna say, erases that layer, and then I can wipe it off with my thumb, and I feel like then I'm gonna get a good stamp. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we are going to stamp the happy, and we're gonna stamp the happy in Melon Mambo. Let me wipe this off just a little bit more. Gonna stamp it in Melon Mambo, and I might do a little bit of testing on this, but what I want to do is I only want to stamp the happy. Now I have happy birthday, right? But I only want to stamp the happy for now. I'm not going to emboss the happy. So I'm going to take tape and I am going to put it across my birthday. So I'm not going to pick up any Melon Mambo ink on my birthday. And then I can go ahead and I can get this lined up here where I want it and get it stamped. So let's go ahead and get into our ink. And I'm just going to stamp the edge of it. I don't have to get crazy with it, but I've got my happy stamped. Before I actually stamp down, I'm going to pull this tape off and put it off to the side. I don't want to get any ink on my card. And let me see, I'm trying to get this happy kind of straight. So I have my happy stamped, right? Happy. All right, the birthday though, we're going to emboss in gold. I think that will tie into the gold foil that is on our designer series paper. So I'm gonna bring in my chamois. Let's clean off the stamp, get the ink off of that happy. And we're gonna do the exact same thing, only this time we're gonna bring in the Versamark ink and we're going to block off the happy. So I'm gonna take my tape, and this time I'm blocking off the happy so I don't get any ink on the happy, tucking this down. The only thing we're gonna grab ink with is the birthday. And the nice part about it is I can see through my stamp. So I'm gonna line my happy up with the happy that I've already stamped, and that will allow me to kind of get it lined up the way it was intended to be lined up. So we're gonna go ahead and take the Versamark ink, make sure I get my birthday inked up really well. And then we're gonna take our tape off, get it out of the way so I don't get my fingers into all of this. And then we're gonna turn it over. I'm gonna line up my happy. Excuse my head if my head happens to be getting in the way, but I'm gonna go ahead and stamp my birthday. Make sure I get good transfer, and then we'll pick it up. Now let's go ahead, clean things off, and get ready to dip it into the gold embossing powder. All right, so let's move this over. I've got my Stampin' Up! Gold embossing powder, and I'm just gonna take, since I haven't done anything with this edge, I'm just gonna take this and dip it in. And it's coming off great. Because I used my embossing buddy, I don't have any extra embossing powder hanging around. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and get this closed up. I've got my heat gun here. So let me get it going, get it warmed up, and we'll get this embossed. It's not quite hot enough. It's not turning yet. All right, now it's starting to turn. Hopefully you can see it. I'm double checking to make sure I've got everything. Maybe a little bit more right here. You don't want to get it too heated, because if you do, then the embossing powder will start to actually melt, and it will melt right into your cardstock. So I don't know if you can see the shine on that, but how fun is that? So now we've got this label. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna bring my bag back in, and we are actually going to adhere this piece down to our bag, okay? So let's go ahead and get that done. gonna go ahead and put this on top just to let it set for just a second. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in a couple of pieces that I have already cut. This is out of Melda Mambo, utilizing the Stylish Shape dies. And you all are familiar with my Stylish Shape dies. I use them all the time. But I went ahead and did the circle. I like the, it's not really stitching the little dots, the piercings around the edge. I really like that. So I decided to use those. And then this is some greenery, only it's not green, it's gold, right? Because I wanted to tie in the gold. But this came from the Stippled Roses bundle. And I just was looking around and I found this die and I thought that's going to be perfect for what I'm looking for. So not stamping with the Stippled Roses, but what's fun about this is that when you're creating, pay attention to what else you got on hand and pull from different places. So I'm sure this is adhered down now. What I can do is I can take this circle and I'm gonna hide it over the seam here, and I'm gonna take it out, not quite to the edge, but I wanna take it out to the edge of the bag. So let's do that. So we'll get this down. And bring it back down here, about right here. And I'm gonna hold it for just a second. I could put my block over it to help, and maybe I'll do that while I'm getting this glued up. So I'm gonna bring out my silicone mat and I'm gonna put my die cut down, and I'm just gonna take glue and I'm gonna put it just a dot on the backs of these leaves. I don't want a lot of glue. I don't want it squishing out, but I don't need much more than that just to put it on the backs of these leaves. So let's go ahead and get that put on the backs of the leaves. So we've got that now. I can lift this up. I'm gonna use my tweezers just to help me out a little bit, I think, if I can find them, to pick this up so I can get it turned over. And let me see how I wanna grab it. All I've got is little dots, but I wanna go ahead and I'm gonna lay it down probably right about here. And again, I've got a little bit of it down. I can just go ahead and take my block and I'm gonna put my block over the top of it. Fun, fun bag, so pretty. I would love, love, love to receive a gift in a bag like this. The other thing that I'm gonna do is I am bringing in the ribbon. It's a paired set, and it's white and petal pink. It comes as a set. So I'm going to use this ribbon, and let me see if we've got that adhered enough. I still need to be able to close the bag, right? So here's our bag thus far. Isn't that pretty? How pretty is that? Okay, I'm gonna let it set a little bit more because I see my leaves popping up. So I'm gonna let it set just a little bit more while I get my ribbon ready. And I think what I'm gonna do with my ribbon is I'm gonna make it one long piece. So I'm just gonna kind of take it across my glass mat. This might be a little bit too long, but I wanna have plenty enough ribbon to tie my bow. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it. And if it is too long, then I'll just kind of trim it up. But I have what we call a crocodile. Basically what I need to do is I need to punch 2 holes in this now. And I'm gonna use my crocodile. If you've got a hole punch, use a hole punch. The crocodile though has a fairly large hole in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use that. And I'm just gonna turn this around, and I need to punch on both sides. So I'm gonna take it in, and I've got a gauge here where I can stop this so that they both go the same amount, in the same amount, if you will. The holes will be even or parallel to each other. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna cut here. I've got those holes, and then I'm gonna poke this out so I can see again. And I'm gonna bring it in about the same distance that I did the other one. Let's see, I'm gonna look again, get an idea. Probably right about here, I'm thinking. Okay, so now I've got my 2 holes here. Now I'm gonna take my ribbon, and basically what you'll do is you'll put your little gift inside your bag. And then what you can do is you can take your ribbon and you can string your ribbon through. So let me go ahead and do that. Pull this side through, and I'm going to twist this around so it's even. Let's see, I want this side, and then we'll go ahead and do this side. Pull that one through. So I'm going to make it even on the back. Then what I can do is I want to make my strings even. So I need to bring this through a little bit more. I can lay this on its side, and then we're going to tie my bow. Get my bow going here. There we go. So I've got my pretty little bow, and I can take my ribbon snips now, and I'm just going to cut off the ends of it. And look at this pretty gift bag that we've got. Oh, wouldn't that be fun to give somebody? Like if you had like some jewelry or something really special that you can put in just a little bitty bag like this. How fun is that? And how beautiful is that? So that's utilizing the small bag. Okay, I love it. Let's talk about what we can do with the big bag. I'm going to pull all this stuff out of the way. And I'm going to bring in the big bag. And the big bag is, it is definitely bigger, right? Let me bring the small one in comparison. Okay, so we do have a bigger bag that we're working with. All right, so what are we going to do with it? I thought it would be fun to case the new mini catalog. So I went through the new mini catalog and I was looking at some of the things that they've got in the new mini catalog that goes into effect January the 7th. And I thought, oh, this is going to be so fun. I am actually going to case the suite that is called Storybook Friends and Storybook Garden Patch. So Storybook Friends, we've got, it's kind of like a Peter Rabbit thing. You've got rabbits, and you've got, somebody loves you, Easter greetings, welcome little one, happy spring, thank you so very much, hello friend. And you can see the bunnies, a brick wall, we've got a couple of squirrels here, I think, a hedgehog, a house, and then it's paired with the Storybook Garden Patch, which is all the veggies that obviously grow in the garden. And you've got pots, and each one of these comes with dies. So you've got plenty of dies to work with. They are photopolymer stamps. This is the first time I'm utilizing this bundle. And let me show you here. These dies are more for the veggies and such. And then they actually happen to be rubber stamps. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to decorate this bag for a new baby. And I brought in the paper that goes along with this. This paper is called Storybook Moments. And what's fun about this paper is you've got different sections that you can utilize. So you can be really careful when you cut this out with the various sections, or you've got designs on the back. Obviously, I have cut out some sections on this. And then obviously, I've got that same design on the back. Then we've got the rabbits with the carrots and the littles and everything, and strawberries on the backs of this one. And then these are little punch outs. So this is really a lot of fun. These punch out so easily. And so you can utilize these on your cards as well. There's 2 sheets. And so when you punch them out, what I like to do is, the folders that your dies come in, when these fall out, I just take them and put them in here. And then when I'm ready to create, these have all been taken care of. And I don't have to worry about them getting wrinkled or bent or anything like that. So I'm going to turn these over. They're just one-sided. We've got our pots and everything that we need to be able to garden. It goes with that other set that I just showed you. And on the back, some pretty designs. This is really gorgeous paper. Make a great background. But on the other side, you've got your little squirrels doing their thing. And then, of course, we've got a little garden going on here as well, and little homes. So just so much you can do with this paper. I've had so much fun playing with it today. So now what we're going to do is we are going to create this bag that I was inspired by the one of the pictures in the mini catalog. Now, In the mini catalog, they had a card. I am not making a card, I am making a bag. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to take some of that paper that we had, and you want to be strategic about it. I mean, let me bring this back in again. If you wanted to use this piece or this piece, pay attention to where, if you wanted to get some of this as well, pay attention to where you want to cut. So when I decided that I wanted to utilize this side, I looked around here to see which one would I be less likely to utilize in a card. And I felt like it was this. So I could use the back side. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're just going to adhere this paper to my Mossy Meadow base. Okay, so we'll get that done. Get it centered up the way that it needs to be. Make sure I get it adhered. Okay. Then I saw this frame. All right, so let me talk to you about how you cut these out. I'm gonna give you an example, if you will. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring my trimmer in because I will probably utilize this again. Let me grab my trimmer. And what I'm gonna do, let me pull this out for just a second to see if I can get this close for you guys. On your trimmer, let me see if I can get it on the camera. When I'm trying to get in the camera, I'm get it messed up. You've got a little slice. Let me see if you can see this. Where can I get it so you guys can see it? There's like a little line here. There we go. See that little line there? I line that up. You've got one on each side. You also have lines on each side of your trimmer here. Can you see that line? So basically what I'm doing when I've got my cutting blade in is I'm lining this, hold on a second, let me pull this up. I'm lining this line with the area that I'm cutting, and I'm lining this line up with where it is I want to cut to. So let me show you this. Let me turn it this way. I'm going to move my bag out of the way and my stands out of the way so they don't give me any grief. And I'm going to cut out this piece. So I'm lining it up in my cutting area. It lines up with the little cutting area that's right here. And now what I can do is I can push up. I'm gonna stop. Here's the line on my blade where I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop right where this stops. So I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna stop right where that stops. And then I'm gonna turn my paper. And I can start again. I'm going to, because I can't see my cutting track, what I can see are these lines on my blade. So I'm gonna line the lines on my blade right up with where I wanna cut. I can come down. I know that I need to come down this far because that's where the image stops. So I can come down here and I can go up here and I'll stop up here when the image stops up here. Okay. And I'm just double checking it. Okay, now the last one, I can see my track again, so that's good. I can see my track again. Lining this up, and then we're gonna cut. And I'm gonna take it all the way up to where it stops, okay? So now I pretty much have this cut out, just like this. How easy was that? I did the same thing for the inside. Same exact thing. I started and just cut it all the way around. And then, once I was done with that, because I wanted to use it as a frame, I just fussy cut around the edges. So now I have a frame for my bag. Now, I need to have a picture behind it, right? So, let me look here. I'm looking for a little, oh, here he is. Okay, I want a little picture behind it. So I found a little rabbit in the carrot patch. I cut this out. It's on the strawberry paper. I cut it out, but I also found a punch out the same as this rabbit. He's just wearing a green coat instead of a blue coat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this rabbit behind the picture frame and get him centered in like so. So let me just go ahead. I'm going to bring my silicone mat in and I'm going to put the glue on my frame right around the edges. And then what I'll do is I will frame my picture with it. So I'm going to get this centered up where I want it and go ahead and frame my picture. Okay. So now I've got my bunny here, but I want to pop this up. I want to add some dimension to it. So I'm going to take dimensionals and I'm going to put these on the back of my bunny. So I've got a dimensional here I'll use. A dimensional here I'll use. I've got a couple of areas that I want to go ahead and make sure they have dimension on as well. They're kind of protruding out. One is his leg right here, and the other one is his carrot or radish or whatever it is that he's holding. I also might put one up here on the ear. Well, all right, if I'm going to put one on one ear, I'll put it on the other ear. I just want to make sure that I get a lot of dimension here and there's no sag. All right, so let's go ahead and get the backs of these off. You guys could get by with just 2 dimensionals if you wanted to. I just, you know how I am. I like my dimensionals and I like the stability of making sure that everything's nice and secure. So let me pull these off real quick. That's why I like my take your pick. My take your pick just pulls them right off. All right, so we've got those off. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up with the rabbit that I already have here. So that rabbit's going to be hidden and this rabbit is going to be popped up. How fun is that? So, so fun. Okay, so let's go ahead now and we're going to put our frame on our layers. And I decided I'm not going to pop them up. I've got my rabbit popped up and I think that's enough. You could pop them up again if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. So I'm going to get my glue on the back here. And then I just want to center this in the middle as best I can. So go here and here. I'm going to pick this up again just so that I can look to make sure that I get it right where I want it. Okay. Isn't that cute? Okay, we're not done yet. What we need to do is we need to do some stamping. And so I've decided that we're going to stamp Welcome Little One. And we are going to use Calypso Coral. We're going to use Calypso Coral because I feel like the frame has got Calypso Coral in it. And again, this is a brand new stamp. I've never used this stamp before. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my eraser and take my eraser over it just so that I get a nice crisp stamp. I just feel like with the new stamps, especially the photopolymer, you don't have to do this on the rubber, but with the photopolymer, there just tends to be a coating. And you can test it. I just kind of do this as prophylactically, meaning I'm taking care of it in advance, even if it might not be a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp Calypso Coral down, and I'm going to bring my mat in because this is a photopolymer, and I think I can do it this way. I think because I've got it, I'm going to die cut it. So I'm going to go ahead and get this stamped. And see how nice and crisp that stamp is. Love that. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's clean off this stamp real quick, and then I'm going to bring the die out that we're going to use. So we're going to do a real quick die cutting. And I'm going to use the dies from Nested Essentials. I like, again, the little dots that we get. And so I felt like this particular one was going to fit really well for this particular stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and get this lined up. Let's see, move it over about a little bit. I'm going to bring it down just a tad so I've got better. Okay, I think I like that. So let's go ahead and take that down, and I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss. And let's go ahead and get the sandwich layer built. And we will, I feel like it moved a little bit. Hold on a second. Hold on. I want a little bit more space on the side of my W. All right, I think we're right there. All right, so let's crank this through. Okay, move this out of the way. I'm gonna put the die back so I don't lose it. Pop this out, and now we have welcome little one. All right, next step, move this stuff out of the way. I'm gonna put it over here, and I think I'm gonna place it, I have to decide, do I want it up high or do I want it down low? I think I'm gonna put this one down low. So I'm gonna take my dimensionals on this, and I'm gonna put just 3 across. Whoop. Right. The backings off of this. It's almost like you're making a card, only you're making a bag. All right, so I'm gonna do welcome little one, probably right about here. I'm not gonna press it down tight yet till I know that this is exactly where I want it. This is exactly where I want it. So now I've got the front of my bag created. So I'm gonna bring my bag back in, and we're gonna lay this down on top, and look at how cute this is going to be. All right, so let's go ahead and get this down. I'm gonna bring out my big bottle of glue, except for I don't think I closed it up, so it might be a little, yeah, it's, okay, here we go. I just needed to get it going. Since this is a big area, I can get it. All right, so we got that. And I'm gonna bring this down. Okay. Get it centered where I want it. And we definitely want to hold this in place for just a few seconds so that it has a chance to adhere. And we're gonna do the exact same thing, only this time, since this is going to be a baby gift, I might need a little bit more room in my bag, so I can't really close it up tight like this one, okay? So I'm thinking I'm going to bring in the pink ribbon again. Now the suite does come with a petal pink ribbon like this, and this is really cute too. I do like this ribbon. But I think what I'm gonna do is, because this is a little bit thinner, I'm gonna use this one. I think this will go well with it. So basically what I'm gonna do again is I'm gonna bring back my, what do we even call this? What was I calling it? Crop-a-dile. My crop-a-dile. All right, and I'm going to measure over probably, I'm gonna go a little bit more, maybe an inch on this side. And then I'm going to go in about an inch on this side, I think. Okay, so I've got my 2 holes. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open my bag. Oh my gosh, could you imagine giving a baby gift with a bag that looks like this? How cute is that? All right, so now I'm gonna take my ribbon and I'm gonna cut 2 pieces. And I'm thinking maybe 13 inches each. So we'll do 13 here, and we'll do 13 here. Ish. And we're going to put your ribbon in. See if you can watch me. Put your ribbon in. And then I'm gonna pull it through, and I'm just gonna tie a little knot on the bottom of it. At the end of it, I should say. So the other thing, I don't know if you noticed or not, I'll show you this in a second. It's not gonna hurt anything, but you might want to just kind of pay attention when you're doing this. When I punched, you know how this folds in? Well, my side folded in as well, and so I punched my side, more so on that side than the other. So next time I do this, I'm gonna make sure that I watch to make sure that I'm punching my holes to the inside of that fold so that that doesn't happen. It's not gonna hurt anything, but I would prefer not to have that. So let me go ahead and put this one in. And we will also tie a knot on the end of this one. Okay, so we've got that, and then we'll do the exact same thing on the other side. Tie my little knot. Now you can customize your bags for whatever event you have going on. Someone's birthday, or a baby shower, or a graduation gift, or a just because, or a get well, I'm sorry, or sick, or in the hospital. And you can customize it. Use your stamp sets. It's like you were making a card. I'm gonna trim these off just a bit so that I kind of have a neater knot. And let me do these real quick, and then I'll show you what we've got. Snipping away. All right, so we pull these, and now we've got a cute little bag for you to put your tissue paper in and your baby gift. How fun is that? So this is the big bag, and let me bring back my little bag. How fun. This is day number 6. I can't wait to show you what day number 7 is gonna bring. Thank you for joining me. Bye, everyone.